Seeing a name in a legal file often sparks curiosity and sometimes suspicion. But being named does not mean someone is guilty. Today we're exploring what it really means to be named in court documents, why names appear, and why some remain hidden from the public eye. We'll dive deep into the recently unsealed documents related to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, a case that has captured global attention. By the end of this video, you'll understand the legal context behind these files, what roles people play when they're mentioned, and why a name appearing even multiple times doesn't automatically imply wrongdoing. This isn't just about one case. It's about understanding how our entire legal system handles sensitive information. So, what does being named in a court file actually mean? It's not as simple as it sounds. In any legal proceeding, a name can show up for many different reasons, and each carries a vastly different weight. First, you have the accused. This is the most straightforward role. An accused individual is someone who has been formally charged with a crime by prosecutors. Their name is central to the case because the entire legal action is directed at them. This is the person facing potential conviction and penalties. Then you have witnesses. A witness is someone who provides testimony or evidence to the court. They might have seen something, heard something, or possess information relevant to the case. Being a witness doesn't mean you're involved in any wrongdoing. It just means you have a piece of the puzzle. Next are associates. An associate is someone connected to the case, perhaps through business, social circles, or other relationships. But they are not necessarily under investigation themselves. Their name might appear because their connection helps establish a timeline or a network of relationships. Finally, there's the broadest category, a mentioned party. This could be almost anyone whose name appears in documents like emails, flight logs, phone records, or interview transcripts. They might be referenced in passing with no direct involvement at all. For example, a name might appear in an old email just to schedule a meeting. Understanding these distinctions is absolutely critical. A name listed in a deposition as a mentioned party is worlds away from a name on an indictment as an accused. Conflating these roles is how misinformation spreads like wildfire. And it's precisely what the legal system, with its specific terminology, tries to prevent. The difference between being charged and simply being mentioned is the difference between accusation and context. Now let's talk about those black bars you see all over court documents. Many names in these files are redacted or blacked out and kept from the public. Why does this happen? Is it a cover-up? The short answer is no. It's a standard legal practice with very specific reasons. The primary reason is to protect privacy. This is especially true for victims, particularly minors, whose identities are legally shielded to prevent further trauma and public scrutiny. The same protection extends to witnesses who may fear retaliation or harassment if their names were made public. Another major reason is to safeguard ongoing investigations. Revealing a name too early could tip off a potential suspect, give them an opportunity to destroy evidence, or interfere with the broader legal strategy. Law enforcement needs to operate with a degree of secrecy to be effective. There's also the issue of legal liability. If a court or government agency were to publicly and incorrectly name someone as a suspect or an associate in a high-profile case, it could lead to severe reputational damage and potential defamation lawsuits. The legal system is designed to be cautious. Redactions aren't a sign that something nefarious is being hidden. Instead, they are a crucial safeguard. They balance the public's right to know with the individual's right to privacy and the integrity of the justice system itself. So when you see a blacked-out name, remember it's a protection mechanism, not necessarily a conspiracy. What happens when a name doesn't just appear once, but over and over again? It's natural for patterns to draw our attention. When one person is mentioned repeatedly across different documents, it certainly raises questions. However, from a strictly legal standpoint, repeated mentions do not confirm wrongdoing. There are many legitimate reasons why a name might appear frequently. It could simply reflect ongoing correspondence. If two people communicated regularly for business or personal reasons, their names will naturally appear together in emails and call logs. It could also be due to administrative references. For instance, a pilot's name might be on every flight log for a specific period because that was their job. Or a personal assistant's name might appear on dozens of documents because they were responsible for scheduling and logistics. A name might also appear repeatedly because that person is a key witness who has information about multiple events or individuals connected to the investigation. The key here is always context. A name, even one that appears 100 times, is not evidence of a crime on its own. It's one piece of a much, much larger puzzle. Investigators look at these patterns to understand networks and timelines, but a repeated mention is just a starting point for more questions, not a conclusion of guilt. Given the potential for public misinterpretation, prosecutors and courts are extremely careful about how they name individuals in official filings. There is a high bar to clear before someone is publicly labeled as anything more than a mentioned party. First, prosecutors generally avoid naming uncharged individuals in indictments or public statements. This is to prevent what's known as trial by public opinion, where someone's reputation is destroyed before they've even had a chance to defend themselves in court. The damage can be irreversible, even if they are later cleared of any suspicion. Court filings are also drafted with deliberate precision. Legal documents will often distinguish very clearly between the accused, material witnesses, and other individuals who are merely mentioned. Lawyers use specific language to delineate these roles because they know every word will be scrutinized. The ultimate goal is to ensure that public perception does not override the principles of justice. Justice requires evidence, due process, and a presumption of innocence until proven guilty. This is why you'll see responsible media outlets and legal analysts carefully separate verified facts from speculation. Even if a name is repeated, it doesn't mean a charge exists or is even being considered. It only confirms that the person's name is part of the documentation surrounding the case. So, let's break it down further. How can a name be mentioned in a serious case without any accusation attached? A single mention can be completely innocent. Someone might be named in a victim's testimony simply because they were present at a social event, completely unaware of any criminal activity happening elsewhere. Their mention serves only to establish a timeline or a location. Even repeated mentions can reflect something entirely benign. For instance, a person might have had professional or social connections to key figures in the case, leading to their name appearing in address books, guest lists, or meeting notes. This doesn't imply they were part of any conspiracy. Their name could also be part of observational notes from an investigator or in an interview where someone is just listing people they know. The legal system is specifically designed to protect individuals until there is sufficient evidence to support a formal charge. This is a cornerstone of our justice system. That's why seeing a name in a file, even a disturbing one, is not a verdict. It's a clue that requires investigation, not a judgment that demands condemnation. Before we jump to conclusions, we have to respect the process. Why does all of this matter to you, the public? Understanding the true meaning of being named in a legal document protects both the public's integrity and the legal process itself. When we understand the difference between an accused person and a mentioned party, we can engage in informed discussions instead of fueling speculation and rumor mills. It helps us consume news more critically and ask the right questions. Instead of just asking who was named, we should be asking, in what capacity was this person named? What role did they play in the file? Were they a witness, a victim, or just mentioned in passing in an email? And why are certain names still redacted? Is it to protect a minor? Or is it because an investigation is still active? These are the questions that lead to a deeper understanding of the story and the justice system. Being an informed citizen means looking beyond the headlines and understanding the context. It means recognizing that the legal process is complex and nuanced, and that fairness depends on us all respecting that complexity. In the next video, we'll go beyond the names. We'll explore the systems, rules, and structures that determine why so many names, even those that appear frequently, never result in charges. Because sometimes the real story isn't about the individuals named in the files, it's about how the legal process itself works, and sometimes where it fails. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss it.